The Good Liars.
The Good Liars.
This is boring. Boring. I will die standing in my boots.
Herschel, I got you some condoms.
What made everyone so weird and sad that they had to come out here?
Mr. President, welcome to the show.
We are the Good Liars, and we are going to tell the truth. Trust us. Welcome to the Good Liars Tell the Truth. I am Jason Selvig.
And I'm DeVrom Stiefler, and we are the Good Liars.
And we may be the Good Liars, but on this show, we are going to tell the truth. And today, we're going to be talking about the latest news from the 2024 election. We got a debate coming up, as well as a solo Trump rally trip by DeVrom to Western Pennsylvania. I couldn't make it because of the surprise guest at the DNC. It was not Beyonce. It was COVID-19. And I was able to bring that back home. It's always nice to be able to bring something home with you.
Bring something home. Yeah, truly a gift from the convention.
Truly a gift.
Along with the swag, the mugs, the shirts,
so much
swag.
Swag.
You brought back COVID-19.
I'm better now. I'm better now. I want to say that. I'm better. I'm testing negative.
Really?
I feel great.
You look like you're
gaunt. I look gaunt. I am struggling. Every day is a struggle for me now.
You saw that a lot of people that we were associating with, and just other people who were at the DNC. You were not the only one to bring that gift home. I will say that.
No, I was like feeling like a little tired, and then I was like looking at Instagram stories of every single person that we met there. And I was like, oh, that's a positive test. That's a positive test. Okay. Before we get into this week's episode, we want to remind you can support us on Hero Hero for just $5 a month, herohero.co/thegoodliars. It's in the description here, the link. And it helps us go to all these terrible places, including Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Is that right, DeVrom? That's where you were?
So Jason was laid up with COVID-19, and I thought, you know how I want to spend the next day? Less than 24 hours, driving about 7 hours out there, sleeping a few hours, recording for a few hours, and then driving about 7 hours home. So Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
All right, but before we get into that, the 2024 election, it's heating up. We have we're past Labor Day now. It's on fire. We're literally in the home stretch now. It's fall. I can tell the sun it's setting. The shadows look different. The days are getting shorter and sadder and sadder and sadder. That means
you're
it's
a big
fall.
weather guy, so
I'm a seasonal depression guy. I don't like when the sun when the days get shorter. But let's talk about some of the things that happened this last weekend. Donald Trump, he did an interview with Fox News's Mark Levin. I was looked up Levin.
Yeah.
That's how you say it. That's how it looks. But I looked up how to pronounce it, and somebody introduced him and said Levin. But is it Levin?
I think they are incorrect.
Okay, all right.
Well, then,
okay. Well, that would. I guess that makes sense. I thought it sounded like almost like Levine, like Avril Lavigne.
Well, that's a totally different spelling, as you know,
a different spelling.
Having written many love letters to her in her younger days.
My ex, I guess.
Unofficial ex.
Unofficial. She doesn't know who I am, or maybe
your
she
Twitter.
doesn't. She's
Your
scared
Twitter.
Yes.
Your ex. Your Twitter.
Oh, I see. That's very clever.
Yeah,
very clever.
That's very
so
clever
the show is.
me.
So wait, say his last name again, so I get this right.
Mark Levin.
Levin. Okay. So his show is Life, Liberty, and Levin, which also is I guess there's the alliteration, which we talked about last week, but it sounds like a parody of a Fox News show.
Right. It also sounds like they're going hard at the alliteration without any substance there.
Yeah, Life, Liberty.
They were like, you know what? It's another
Pursuit
L.
of Happiness. Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. So here, this is Donald Trump. This is Donald Trump. He did a sit-down interview to promote his new book, Save America, which I can't wait to get my hands on. And this is what he had to say.
What are you going to do with it once you get your hands on it? Sounds threatening.
No. I mean, yeah.
Prop up a table leg with it, or whatever you got to do.
I mean, it's huge. It's a huge book. It looks almost like
I know, but your table
book.
Is like going to fall over. So
I know. Well, and also if you've watched the podcast, you notice that like my desk He used to be part of a big desk that I then made into a small desk, and it's missing some of the support, so sometimes it shakes. So I don't even know if this desk could handle this.
Whoever heard you get indicted for interfering with a presidential election where you have every right to do it? You get indicted and your poll numbers go up. When people get indicted, your poll numbers go down.
So what do you think about that, DeVrom? Did he just say the
a
quiet
couple
part
things
loud?
Strike me. Yeah, a couple of things strike me about it. He says you get indicted for an election you interfered with or something like that, which you have every right to. So he views, like, obviously, I mean, he breaks every rule of, all the norms and all the laws alike. But if there were legitimate questions and you went through the courts, I think that's what he's kind of saying. I have every right to do that, but that's not what he's doing. He's just spreading misinformation, and it's working, by the way. People really believe this. But he's basically saying, people are saying I interfered, and I did because I had the right to.
Yes, yeah.
An admission?
I think it's like a little bit of a slip. Like, his whole point that he was trying to make is that I get indicted and my poll numbers go up. That usually doesn't happen. Can you believe it? But then he ends up saying, I interfered with an election.
With the presidential
I don't
election.
think that was his intent, but it is what he did. So I don't know. know.
He's
Speaking
also
of
breaking some new ground. Like, people get indicted, their poll numbers go down. It's nothing like this has ever happened. So it's not like you look at the past and other people who said the election was stolen and were indicted for it, their poll numbers went down. He's breaking new ground, is my point.
Right.
Whatever point he's trying to make.
Yeah, there hasn't been other reality show host presidents who got famous because of a racist lie they made about a president. Right. Yeah, so unprecedented times we're in right now. We don't really need any reminder of that right now. But the interview continued, and he had another, I thought, also telling moment in it, and this has been shared a lot on social media. But we might as well just beat it to death here and talk about it here.
Things that I normally wouldn't agree to. Now they have Kamala, who they say has many deficiencies, but she's a nasty person. The way she treated Mike Pence was horrible. The way she treats people is horrible. But the way she treated Justice Kavanaugh during that hearing, in the history of Congress, nobody's been treated that way.
I like beer. I forgot about that.
Tobin and Squee.
Yeah, I know. Guys for life, but obviously burying the lead here. The way she treated Mike Pence was just horrible. Like, if you think about the people who have treated Mike Pence the worst, Kamala Harris has to be at the top of the. Well, she's number one. She's number one. Probably his wife is number two because the whole mother thing, that really wasn't a good look. Although that was probably his choice to do. And then number three, I don't know. Maybe us. We've been mean to Mike Pence in the past too.
Rude,
so maybe,
I don't know. There must be someone else. I mean, I'm racking my brain here.
It's
Could
just
it be
wild.
The guy who? I mean, let's say what happened. Just some facts. Donald Trump basically gathered a group of people and said Mike Pence should overturn the election and called him a coward, basically, and then sent them to where Mike Pence was.
He said the P word. He called him a P word.
Called him a P word, but I think he tweeted something along the lines of like, if you had the backbone to do the right thing or something, and then sent that group of people to where Mike Pence was, and then they broke into Congress. So he was saying that Kamala Harris had treated Mike Pence badly. Anyone in Congress had ever treated the vice president so badly or something like that. I think sending a group of people in there, possibly who were chanting "Hang Mike Pence," into the building where Mike Pence was, into Congress, could be treating him worse in Congress. If you want to split hairs here.
Yeah, clearly this is it's up for debate because we don't agree on this. I'm sure the country doesn't agree on it. And basic facts. Yeah. So it is pretty funny that he would come to the. I want to know if he misspoke, if he was like, I did not mean to say Mike Pence right now. I meant to say Kavanaugh, but I'm like, I can't. I just got to blow past it. It's just like wild that he would. Pence, who's also said he can't vote for Trump in good conscience and didn't go to the RNC. It's just wild. It's just wild that he's the leading candidate. I know we say this over and over again, but how can you do a January 6th and then almost be back in the presidency? It's just fucking wild. It's just fucking wild.
Appealing to people's fears, I guess, it's more powerful than you could ever guess, is all I can say to that.
Yes. Well, the big news going into next week, we are less than a week away from the second presidential debate, which is wild. It's the second presidential debate, but it's the first one between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. I want to get your predictions on this, Devram, but before we get into the predictions of the actual debate, I want to know, do you think it will even happen? Because in that same interview with Mark, say it again?
Levin.
Levin. I'm going to say Lavin. No, Lavin. Lavin. I'm going to say that for the record.
You want to say it incorrectly, and that's good. That's fine.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, great.
In that same interview,
you're pulling a Trump. You're pulling a like Republicans won't say Kamala's name correctly kind of moment here.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's totally different. It's totally different when I do it. It's different.
Right.
If I do it, it's fine. If they do it, it's terrible.
Right.
Donald Trump said this in the same interview. ABC is probably the worst in terms of fairness. George Flopadopoulos, the people they have are they're terrible. Jonathan Karl, end quote. So
Can you clarify that? You've been talking about Trump struggling with the nicknames. Has he called him Flopadopoulos before?
I don't know.
And is it a good one?
Do you like it? Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, what's your?
It's
if
fun,
that's the first time
at
you've heard
least.
it.
I mean, I don't know what it means, but it's fun at least, you know.
I think he's called him little before. He's like made fun of his height before. Donald Trump wears lifts, right? Is that? Do we know that for sure?
I think that's
or people
fair
just
to say,
speculate
the way that he kind of leans forward in that way. But also, I don't think you really think of Flopadopoulos being particularly short. He's always like seated and stuff. It just doesn't. It's not something people think about. You think about that a lot.
I think about that often.
Oh, I think about that a lot.
Yeah. Well, so Devram, he's saying all this stuff after like saying he's agreed to it. Now he's kind of being like, he's like always moving the goalposts. If I lose, it's only because it wasn't fair. If I lose,
It's ironic because
really
he could
lost.
never play a sport that involves
Golf, man.
goalposts.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's true. But number one, do you think the debate's going to happen?
I kind of think it will because Trump needs a reason to say that he's turned the tides, right? Doesn't he need a moment to point to try and stop what seems to be like this slow, steady surge from Kamala? So I kind of think it benefits him. Also, he's not burdened by like facts. He doesn't need to like win. He just needs to have a couple of moments that he can point to try and say that everything has changed. So I kind of think it's really hard to debate Trump. So I think he would want it to happen. And I don't think Kamala can really back out. I think people are criticizing her for not appearing, not having live appearances. I know she did the CNN interview, but I think she was with Tim Walz and people wanted to kind of not give her credit for that. So I kind of think the debate, unfortunately, is just shaping up to be this big moment again, which it probably shouldn't have the outsized importance that it does. What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to happen. So a couple thoughts here. I think he's going to go do the debate, but if he gets more and more nervous about it, he's going to say it's just unfair. This whole thing's unfair. There's going to be terrible questions.
Says that quote that you read is the worst in terms of fairness. So he's setting that up, as he always does. Which is wild that it's like ABC, because the ABC is not one that you would think is going to be like, oh, MSNBC is hosting a debate. Donald Trump. He could be like, this is the worst as far as fairness goes. And you could be like, okay, maybe. Or like Pod Save America is like, or the Good Liars are hosting a debate. He could be like, this is not going to be fair. We're open to it, by the way.
Which we are.
Listeners. Yeah.
Yes. We would even do the vice presidential. We don't want to like fuck up our negotiation tactic here. We'd even do that though. We just want to say
We'll
that
flip
for
a coin. We'll take either.
But I think he could, and this is me just saying this because you got to say it, because if you're right and it's 1 in a million, you just want to have it on record. But if not, I'm just going to say that
That wasn't
it's
that my
totally unfair.
Wasn't that my good advice recently? Just make
It was.
predictions.
I've been always taking your
Yeah.
advice, always. So that's why the words of wisdom are. I always ask for them because it helps me guide my life. But I think Donald Trump, he's going to go out there. If he's losing, they do one commercial break during it. If he's losing, the commercial break's going to happen, comes back up, he's gone. He's gone. He's not on stage anymore. And then afterwards, he's going to be like, the debate was totally unfair. That's why I didn't show up at all. I never came. Even though he'd been there for the first 30 minutes, he's just going to say, I was never there. That's not true. Don't believe it.
He's gonna pull an illusion.
Yeah, or just like you have to be fucking stupid to believe it. But yes, he's gonna be like
that would kind of be the
disappearing
bar
act
that has happened over and over with Trump. You'd have to be pretty fucking stupid to believe it.
Yes,
that's happened, and he's proven that he can get away with that. So
I wasn't even there,
like
folks.
this.
They say I was there. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. They show a video like
the debate, but I was
never
never
that was
there.
me. I was never there. You can't even say. And of course, I left. It was unfair, but I didn't leave because I was never there.
The illusion is all about the prestige, as you know.
Yes, of course. So let's talk about from Harris's point of view. What do you expect to see from her, Vice President Harris, in this debate?
As I was saying, I think she has the tougher job. Obviously, she has to respond to Donald Trump quickly and with force and with facts and seem like the reasonable one. I hadn't thought about this, and maybe it's just because I hadn't read enough about it. Maybe this is what people were saying. But when you cut the mics, the audience is not hearing that you are being interrupted. So you'd think it would be better. Oh, Trump can't talk over the responses. But the problem is she would be hearing him, but the audience wouldn't be. So you would be seeing this interrupted, look on someone's face, which is not helpful if you're trying to look like you're on top of things. Because you just wouldn't be hearing what the person would be hearing live. So it's good that they're not cutting the mics because it just creates a strange back and forth. But I guess she has the tougher job, as anybody debates Trump does, because he's not burdened by like having to have intelligent responses, well-informed responses. He just has to like be himself. It's a cult of personality, so people are just want to see him be himself and be confident and look like he's in charge. As vague as that is, it just doesn't matter what he says. So I think she has a tough job, and she'll get criticized for any moments that don't go her way. So I just think she has a lot of prep to do, and we'll see how it goes.
What I would encourage everyone who's going to watch the debate to do is to, the day before, or even like an hour and a half before, watch in its entirety the debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump from June. Watch the entire thing. Watch the entire thing.
Why would you give anybody advice to do that?
Well, hear me out. This is like a couple step process here. So you're going to watch it. Then you're going to your expectations are going to be so low that you're going to see her go out there. You're going to see Harris go out there and she's going to say sentences. She's going to have
from
thoughts.
Start to finish.
She's not going to say that we're going to beat Medicare. So you're going to be like, she absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Now, let me ask, who's going to be forced to watch this? Just anybody? People
there's no forcing
political
going on.
persuasions?
I'm saying
is this, communist?
It's not communist. This is advice that I'm giving. I'm saying you watch the debate before. You're going to see her come out, and you're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, Kamala Harris is brilliant. She is a great debater," because it's the bar is so low that was set by Joe Biden that she's. I hope, at least I hope, she's going to go out there and just and kill it. And also, you got to remember, like, people said this after the first debate, that Joe Biden gave the worst debate performance of all time. I think everybody agrees on that. But maybe the second worst was Donald Trump. So if she's out there and she's saying things to maybe get under his skin, I would say, do not say you're better at golf than Donald Trump.
That would
Do
be
not
really
say.
funny. If
She
was
did the
I think I'm a
exact
better
same
golfer
thing.
too. Yeah.
I'm better golfer. And do you carry your own golf bag? No caddies, no golf carts. Remember that in the first debate? Oh, it was
Yeah, I
so
do.
brutal. So brutal. That was the only time Joe Biden was like, you understood what he was saying, but you were like, why the fuck
Why are you doing
talking
this
about
right now?
This is
Yeah.
so over under.
I want
Go
to
ahead.
leapfrog back for a second, which you don't
Sure,
often
please.
do.
I love it. I love it.
I brought up the mic thing. I have a solution to it.
Oh,
They
I'm
need
sorry,
to
yeah.
be in their own glass cases.
Like get
On
smart.
the same stage,
Yeah.
but separated so that the audience is hearing what they are hearing so that there is no confusion. And then they should cut the mic so people can't talk over one another. But you can't be watching on TV and hearing different things than the candidates are hearing. So there is an easy solution.
Just do it by
get
Zoom.
Smart. You gotta.
They should just be
Well,
in
at
like,
that point,
they're
it's
like
like Zoom. They could be in
sweatpants.
different rooms. Maybe you learn a little more about their lives.
I think
sure,
it's too,
but
it
I'm
looks
just
too
saying
odd.
that just.
to let them
just
be
a-
in like
I know, but
boy
then
in the
you throw
bubble.
cash in there. Then you throw cash in there.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and
All
then
right.
it becomes
Now we're
actually
talking.
really fun.
Yes. Okay.
And to see who can grab the most cash. And maybe whoever
ABC
grabs the most cash is the best next president.
They do a lot of game shows. I would love to just mix it up with game show stuff.
You know what would be an incredible game show to put Donald Trump through? The Price is Right. Be like, how much is a box of detergent? And he'd be like, I don't know.
$500,000.
$86.
Yeah.
That would be great.
He's like the horrible, no talent Drew Carey.
Yeah.
It's like
With his little
propaganda about
microphone.
dogs and cats getting fixed.
Have you ever seen such a long, thin microphone?
It's like, why? Why is it that thin? What's he hiding? So the Donald Trump, bum, 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 he'd be like, don't play that noise. I don't like that noise.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, what are the odds that he calls her the B word live on television? The B word. We all know what the B word is. I don't need to explain
boy.
this. It's a bad word.
I love
bad,
these
bad word.
hypotheticals. I think that's such a great one. It's the fact that it's a 5% chance is wild because I do think it exists. So it's a great question. I don't think
you
it's
think 5%?
likely to happen. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to price this right you.
wants-
I'm going to say 6%. I'm going to just
Love
do a
that.
little bit above
Love
you.
that.
So,
And I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think he is really swinging right now. He's trying to grab anything he can to kind of take the news back. I mean, some of the things he's truthing.
Fucking wild.
He's really
I didn't-
trying. So this
I was
going to
say, should we
chance to do
talk
it
about this stuff?
face-to-face.
But why even talk it? And I now, even though I just brought up the B word stuff, he's basically truth stuff that's worse than that.
That's worse,
So,
right?
You're saying 5% of
there's
the
no
B
re-
word.
Yeah.
5%. Okay. What about the
5%.
C word? What about the C word?
Oh, geez.
Donald Trump calls
0.1%.
the current vice president. 0.1%.
It's not impossible, and that's why. And I thought maybe we were going to talk about some of those
1%.
truths.
1%.
Really?
Let's talk about it. Let's
Possible.
talk about it. Let's talk about it now. We've got time. I want to wrap
Well,
up this debate segment. Let's talk about it.
Well, I had the same thought. Maybe you just don't give it, the oxygen because it's just unpleasant and it's just like misogynistic stuff that he's putting out into the world to a huge audience. Like, why talk about it? But it's kind of the push and pull in the debate about talking about Trump in general. It's like he is the nominee of a major political party in an election that is 2 months away, that is going to be decided by a couple of percentage points, if that. So it's hard not to talk about this stuff. But suffice it to say, he's just saying some of the worst, most lowbrow stuff you can say, and he's sending it out to millions of followers.
Well, do you want to say what he said? The retweet of we're using all the abbreviations now. We've said the B word, we said the C word. He said something about a B and a J. A B and a J.
Right.
He retweeted it.
B and the J.
Yes.
Can you refresh me? He said something. Who was in the truth with Kamala?
Former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton.
Right. And he said something about how it's it's surprising how big of a role that these BJs have played in both of their political careers. Is that what
Well,
it
I was
is?
saying B and J separately because BJ together, it
Then
sounds.
you crossed the line.
And then you've crossed the line. And you know, I'm
So we're
all
really
about
tiptoeing
class.
around this. We're really tiptoeing around this in a really classy way.
Yes, we're
and I'm
keeping
sorry,
it
I just
classy.
crossed the line. But
It's
can
okay.
can you believe it? I mean,
Yes,
it's just incredible.
We talked about this because you were at the rally. We talked about this on Dean's show that you were supposed to be on, but then you went to the rally. He asked about these tweets and the things that he said, and then I was talking about how we go to the rallies, and ever since 2020, since Harris was the VP nomination, there are those shirts that are like "Vote No for Joe," and the rhymes with Joe starts with H. And also, like, what is it now? Like, say no. I don't know what it is. There's another shirt that says the same thing. So this is not like, it's like Donald Trump, I'm sure, sees this stuff at his rallies. He knows that this exists. This kind of misogyny going on.
Right.
And he's gone towards it. He's done it before. You know, I mean, he did it to Ted Cruz. He retweeted a thing calling Ted Cruz's wife ugly. Like he's got no class like we do. I'll tell you that.
Right.
We're being very
I'll tell you
classy
that
on this
much.
podcast.
But there's something like, I feel like it's part of the "Make America Great Again" thing. It's like, what?
Oh,
I
yeah.
can say whatever I want. I remember we used to all make these kind of jokes. It's good. Like,
Yeah.
you like what? Why are you complaining about it? Like, it's part of the allure for people who, like, I don't know, don't want to stop saying horrible shit.
Yes. So since we're talking about his thing, since we're talking about Truth Social, where I get all my news. I get all my news from
Yeah.
Truth Social, and I buy all the
It's
gold
even
from
better
there,
than
all the
X.
ads.
Even better than X.
Even better than X. Donald Trump truthed this, and it's like I shared it on social media this weekend. But he tweeted this Substack about the article is about how Kamala Harris is like basically Soviet and she's a communist and all this.
I have
But, like,
a major issue with this image.
Okay, well, there's several issues
Yeah,
with it.
but I have one that I
Can
don't
you
know if
describe
it's
it?
being
Can you
talked
describe
about.
it for the audience?
I
Just
can.
what you're
so,
saying.
like you said, it's sharing a Substack, and then there's an image associated with it, and it's Kamala with a big mustache, a communist Russian mustache, I guess, and a red hat.
It's a Mario mustache.
I want you to say
It's
what
a
you
Mario
shared.
mustache.
It's a Mario.
Yeah. Totally classing it up now with our stereotypes of Mario, and I do want to deeply apologize to the cartoon video game character.
But it's supposed to be a Stalin mustache.
It's supposed to be, but she looks
But
straight
it
up.
looks
Well, it doesn't even
really
look like her. But maybe that's what you're going to
my
get into.
problem with it.
Okay.
So basically, just to finish it up, and she's wearing a red hat that looks like exactly like Mario. So in combination with the mustache, it's hard not to see that. Do you want to say your post? Just because I think it's important that we all are aware of what Mario accomplished.
You should read it because I don't want to read my own
No, of course
writing.
not.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Breaking: Donald Trump accuses Kamala Harris of being a heroic plumber who saved Princess Peach from Bowser and his evil Koopa army. And that's true. And I'm glad that you drew attention
On
to
multiple
this because a lot of people-
occasions.
Multiple occasions on multiple levels.
Yes.
The issue, I think, is several fold. Yes.
Can I say something else?
Please.
Yes, that is true. He's also very good at tennis. He's a very skilled go-kart driver. And he's
And
not
what
bad
else?
at golf either.
And what else?
He's not bad at golf. He's not bad
I
at
know,
golf.
but
and he's a fun guy to bring to a party.
Vocation. He's good at plumber.
Well, do we know he's a good plumber?
We can
Is there any
assume
proof
he's a
in the
good
games?
plumber.
What? Because he got lost in some pipes? That makes him a good
No,
plumber.
because
Actually,
he and his
make him a
cousin have
bad plumber.
devoted
He
their
went on
lives to being plumbers. I mean, are you kidding me?
His cousin, explain to me, who's his cousin? Who's his cousin?
Luigi. Is that not his cousin?
It's his twin brother.
How are they twins? Fraternal, not identical.
Yes.
Darn it. Well, I think we're getting away from what's important here.
what's Mario's last name?
Pasta.
You don't know? This is so offensive. This is getting really offensive. This is the second thing you've done that I will cancel you for today. That no, his last name is Mario.
You brought us here.
His last name is Mario.
Mario? What is Luigi's last name?
Mario. That's really his last name is Mario.
Anyway, regardless, I think Donald Trump is trying to take something from Mario there, his accomplishments, as which you so courageously pointed to.
Thank you.
But also, he's trying to accuse Kamala of being a communist. I mean, she's like a prosecutor. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. Her career and these accusations don't really match up. But my big issue, can you bring it back up again?
Of course.
My big issue is that it looks nothing like her. It doesn't look like her. They keep sharing these AI images. I don't know. It looks like this kind of blank slate of a person with her complexion, I guess, but it's not.
People
her.
said Ava Longoria.
Yeah, that's a good
Did I say
point.
her name wrong too? Eva?
I would say Eva, but I don't. What are we gonna get all bogged down in this? We know who you're talking about.
Mark Levin.
Mark Levin.
Mark Levin.
I think it's Levin. I'll be so embarrassed if I'm wrong, but I also won't care at all.
Okay, good.
So anyway, this doesn't look anything like her. People are going to keep sharing
contradicting
AI
things.
images of her that are just don't look anything like her, and I think that's laziness.
It's out of
Put
laziness.
the prompts back in. Make another one if you're going to do this.
Yes,
Also,
yes.
I saw someone X posted something that I thought was interesting. It was like many years ago, lots of us thought this man was going to help us all live on Mars and was a genius. And that was because Elon shared this as well. And how far the mighty have fallen, it would seem.
Very sad.
Well,
very sad. So the last thing about the debate, we kind of went off on a little sidetrack
call
there,
it that.
which is, well, it was. I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I'm just saying
Right.
we deviated from
Heavily
an outline.
related.
Yes, it was heavily related, and that's a good thing, Devram. I think we should embrace that. My last prediction for the debate is that Kamala Harris kills it. She does a great job. She's zinging him left and right. Maybe even makes a dig at his golf game. Then the last question, when it's like, well, share your view for America, and they give their little monologue that they've prepared, and it doesn't matter what the question is, they'll go into this monologue at the end. She says it, and then her voice, she coughs a little bit. She's like, and then rips off a mask, reveals
You're
it was
gonna wanna
Joe
be one of these
Biden
bastards.
the whole time.
Whoa.
It was Joe Biden the whole time. And then afterwards, he's like, I did that. I did that. I acted like her the whole time.
You thought
I did that.
could beat me. I was tricking you. I love that theory.
Like Vince McMahon.
Because here's my problem with
It was
a lot of
me,
people-
Austin. It was
Right.
me all
We all know what you're
along,
talking
Austin.
about. We all know what you're talking
Somebody does.
about.
Somebody with the same amount of wrestling belts that I have knows exactly what I'm talking
Why
about.
would, this is something that we should probably get to the bottom of when we talk to people. If Joe Biden was an actor in a mask, why would the actor bungle the debate so badly? You know what I mean? This person has been keeping up the act for this long. Why would they do that?
You want me to answer that? I can answer that very easily.
Because it was all
Because
part
the
of the
person-
plan.
No, because it was funny. It was a joke. It's a
Oh.
movie. They always say this is a movie, and the movie is like a sad comedy,
Right.
or it's just a comedy. If you weren't living it, like it's like slapstick comedy. What's happening
Right.
to us right now? It is like
Absurdist
too over the
comedy.
top. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I
Jumping
hope
the
that
shark.
answered your
We're
question.
jumping the shark here on the movie of 2024.
Yes, well, I think that might have happened with the election of a reality show host. But
Right.
let's talk about your trip, Devram. You mentioned you traveled 7 hours, 7.5 hours, 7.5?
Right. You're
that
counting in a stop for a meal and some gas. Yeah, 7.5 hours.
7.5 hours to Johnstown, which I don't know anything about. And I like the small Appalachian towns, the foothills of Appalachia.
It was unbelievably beautiful. There were you drive up into these hills, and there's just fog rolling through, clouds rolling through. Sunsets, when I was arriving the night before was incredible. It was so beautiful.
Damn it. That
pretty
sucks.
isolated. Was able to go to a Texas Roadhouse on the way. Really important to me that I make that stop whenever I can. So the fact that they had that in Altoona, which was kind of close by Johnstown.
Altoona, really?
Yeah.
Was it really? Altoona, which is the
like
same
Iowa.
as like Iowa, yeah, where we
Right,
stayed in
and they have
2016.
a little baseball team, a little stadium there. We saw the lights on. We'd already missed
Did you
the
go?
first half of the game, so we did not go.
Just go and watch who cares? So watch the second half. Who cares?
Well, that's what I told Peter, the guy who was filming, but he said, well, we've already missed too much of it. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's just get to Johnstown. So we get to Johnstown, and I have to say, just kind of a beautiful, small town. I didn't get a sense of the population, the size of it. It felt really, really small. But I don't know, there's definitely a beauty to those hills there.
Definitely. So you got there at the Trump rally. You talked to some people. I know you pulled a couple of the clips. Do you want to set up any of these interviews that you have, or should we just play them and we can talk about it?
Yeah, let's just play this first interaction here, and we can talk about it.
The mass shootings are because why?
Because we have the Second Amendment that allows us to have guns. A lot of countries don't have the power to get guns as easily as we can, and that's the reason, because there's more
So
guns.
the mass shootings are because of
More guns, more people, and if you have more guns, more people, more crazy people that have guns, stuff happens. I wouldn't blame the gun. You got to blame.
But you're that's the reason for more gun control, is that more guns, more crazy people, more bad things happen.
I mean, when a crazy person with a gun comes in, how do you take them out? Another gun.
So your answer to the gun issue would be more guns, more people carrying guns.
Of course.
Right, of course.
Wild.
So we've heard this logic before, but never immediately on the heels of just kind of admitting that the Second Amendment is the reason for all the mass shootings.
Yeah. It seemed like it was kind of arguing both sides of it a little bit with that clip.
Yeah, which I hadn't
of course,
quite
the
heard
Second
before.
Amendment is we have the mass shootings because everyone has the guns, but because everyone has the guns, you can have somebody to stop the mass shooters.
Right.
See what I mean?
See what I mean there? It works as long as you don't think about it too much. I don't know. It's a sad state of affairs that we keep having these shootings.
I'm just wondering, because I wasn't there. I don't know. Did the conversation come about because her friend was wearing the big gun shirt?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think they were both big Second Amendment advocates, and so I think I asked which issues were important, and then that came up. But I think they both sure did love guns, and they were local, so I just think that this was a Johnstown crowd, and they really love their right to bear arms. So
Nice.
I don't know. At least there was some honesty in the train of thought there. As unfortunate as it was, it's the fact that we are all entitled to own guns is probably why the shootings are happening.
But
We
you
can all
haven't
at least
seen.
agree on that.
We saw there was a nod a couple times in the DNC in a couple of the speeches, and they obviously had a big. I think you had looked to get food at this point. We'd wrapped the interviews, and then they had all the survivors of the mass shootings, and also the people who had lost loved ones, and it was gut wrenching. It was literally
Right.
one of the saddest things I've ever seen in person.
I know. I walked in and I was like, "These burgers were $15 each." Like, cool it.
Shut the fuck up, DeFrom. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it was really, really sad. But also, I don't think we heard a lot about it from. It hasn't become a big campaign issue that I kind of obviously something that is important to me and important to you, but it does not seem like it's a big issue for. The 2024
It's surprising
campaign.
because the majority of people agree that there should be stricter gun laws. You would think it would be something to discuss and to seize on, but no, we just haven't been hearing about it. The other thing, we're speaking about the election in general. So this was an interaction I had about the election, the upcoming election.
Biden.
If Trump wins, will you accept the results?
Of course.
If Kamala wins, will you accept the results?
No. No, because it won't be possible. It'll be an absolute canard. Nobody's really voting
Yeah,
for
but you gotta, when you listen to yourself say that, that's gotta be a red flag, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. Listen to what the Democrats say.
So say it again. If Donald Trump wins this election, will you accept the results?
Yes.
If Kamala Harris wins this election, will you accept the results?
No.
I mean, you got to hear what that sounds like, right?
I don't care what it sounds like, because if they say she wins the election, she didn't win it.
It's good to see him again. This is that's Vampire Teeth guy, right? Lion's not cheap.
That's right. He said, I think before this interaction, he'd been to 86 Trump rallies or something. So he's a staple there. One of the few people we talked to that wasn't from the area. But I don't know. It's like an unabashed, complete distrust for any election that doesn't go their way. So it's just something to know. Just something to know as we get into this election.
To be excited about going into it.
Yeah, just a thing to be excited about.
A lot of people. His demeanor, though, besides was he wearing the vampire teeth? I couldn't tell from the video.
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know.
That was kind of, I liked that. I mean, it was at least exciting part of his personality or something. But he doesn't seem like the type of guy who's going to like stand back and stand by and go like storm a Capitol or something like that. He seems like he'd be upset about it. I'm like thinking about the election, knowing what happened in 2020 and in 2021. Like, I'm just trying to like mentally prepare, like, are there going to be these militias?
Right. How many
go do something
people
crazy?
are these? He doesn't seem like a militia guy. Also, we passed each other later, and he said that was fun. Usually the interviews are so easy. It's nice to get some pushback or something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know.
He was excited.
He seems to really believe what he's saying, but he doesn't seem like the type that's going to do January 6th 2.0.
No, seems like the type that on St. Patrick's Day will be outside Trump Tower and we'll interview him.
You're saying that because he was? Yeah. All right, so here's one more interaction from the day, just to kind of round out the feeling of the day.
What do you feel about the people here protesting Donald Trump?
Well, I feel like everybody should have something to say, but this is a Trump rally. If you don't like it, don't come here to protest. Don't come if you're uneducated and you don't know what you're talking about.
You would rather they just didn't come here?
I would rather them not come here.
Are you a fan of the First Amendment?
Absolutely. You know, the right to bear arms. Look, this is...
That's not the First Amendment.
No, the Fourth Amendment, but I'm saying...
That's not the Fourth Amendment either.
Anyway,
as a very telling clip.
There you have it. I should also say the protesters she was referring to seemed very peaceful, almost incredibly relaxed.
Too peaceful? Like little suspect?
Too peaceful? Like maybe they should have done. No, save for one moment when a guy was really screaming at them, and I think he was trying to get a reaction. He kind of did. They were just so well behaved, so it was interesting for this woman to say that they were, that they shouldn't be there. She went on to say that they were spewing hatred or something like that, and it was like, man, these people just seem really relaxed, really calm.
Veterans Against Trump, those are the people that we talked to in North Carolina, I believe.
Yes, North Carolina at the very end. And she was screaming at that guy, asking him to prove he was in the military. It was just a strange dynamic there for some
did he pull out a card?
Protest. He did for me, which I was not trying to get him to do. I said, is that a little strange to be having someone demand that you prove you're in the military? And then he pulled it out to show me. Yes, he kind of said he didn't think that was very pro-troops to be demanding proof of being in the military.
Yeah.
But then he proved it to me, and I felt that sad that I had made.
Did you say this is fake? This is fake. I don't believe you. You're spewing hatred here.
Right.
Well, DeVrom, let's have a moment of truth here. How would you rate the Trump rally out of 10? Moment of truth.
Okay, so the moment of truth about this Trump rally, I would say that this Trump rally was a 5 out of 10. The truth is that it was a beautiful town, an incredibly beautiful town. The night before, with the clouds kind of drifting through the hills, all the greenery, the people there generally in a good mood, generally happy, even though they were there to cheer on some pretty bad stuff. The mood of it was all right. And of course, the most important thing, a Texas Roadhouse not 40 minutes away. So I'm going to give this rally a 5 out of 10. And that's the truth. The only big thing I wish I could have done was spend more time there. So 5 out of 10 for the Trump rally in Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
I got to ask the question here that I think a lot of the listeners are probably wondering to themselves right now. You said 40 minutes away was the Texas Roadhouse? 50 minutes away.
That's right.
Okay.
45,
now,
somewhere in between.
Did you drive out of the way to go to the Texas Roadhouse, and did that add to the 7.5 hours that you drove?
Maybe 10 minutes out of the way.
Okay. All right.
You don't have to drive through Altoona, but it's very much on the way.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go to Johnstown, you got to go to Altoona.
You got to go to Altoona.
You got to go to Altoona.
Got to go to Altoona.
All right, that does it for this episode of The Good Liars Tell the Truth. You can join us on Hero for a special bonus episode. We're going to be showing some new videos there. And I'm going to talk about some things that I've got beef with right now, because there's a lot of people out there that are making me angry, and I'm going to get a lot of stuff off my chest, and I could get in trouble for it, but I'm going to do it because people deserve to know the truth. But before we start our bonus episode, and you can join us on hero.co/thegoodliars. DeVrom, I have to ask you a question right now, and I want you to answer honestly, please. Okay, I'm looking you in the eye, and you're not. Are you going to be honest right now? Yes,
I promise.
Okay. Do you have any words of wisdom for the audience?
I do. If you're going on a long road trip and you see a sign for a golf course, just get off the road, go there, and go to the driving range and hit a few balls. Even if you're terrible at it, like I am, and you don't know how to play golf, just do it, because you're going to have fun. You're going to get to stretch your legs. You're going to confuse the people at the golf course so much when you show up with no golf outfit, no clubs, and you try and go out on the driving range. You're going to be like, what? This never happens. And that's fun.
Okay, great advice, Jerome. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. All right, that does it. Very specific advice. That does it for this episode of The Good Liars Tell the Truth. We'll see you next time. Before we just show some other videos, DeVrom, can I talk about some things I've got beef with really fast?
Sure. Beef with Jason.
That's right. We watched The Fall Guy. Did you see the Fall Guy?
No, I wanted to be excited about it. I heard some mixed things, but I wanted to be excited about it. I wanted to see it.
It's starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt
and Mark Levin. Yeah.
Mark Levin. The Fall Guy. I was like, I saw a trailer for it, and I was like, oh, this could be actually fun, and it's not a stupid fucking superhero movie. And I can't tell you how much I hated this movie. I despised it. You
weren't looking to beef with it. It just happened.
I wasn't. I was actually kind of excited. I was like, oh, this is going to be different.
I'm sorry to hear that. And this is why I probably just won't watch it.
I can't recommend it. I think you'd be happier not watching it. But maybe it's just not for me.
You don't know the kind of stuff I do. What if
I know you're into some
spending
sick
my time
shit
in the worst ways, and I might actually really enjoy watching even a bad movie. You don't know that.
I guess you're right. So I really didn't enjoy it. I thought it was it's like the script. I was like, I can't believe this made it out there. And like the tone keeps shifting and all this stuff, and it's supposed to be, and just nothing made sense, and I just despised it.
Were the stunts good?
The stunts were fine. Okay, there were some awesome stunts, and obviously like it's an ode to the stuntman out there, you know. But there's also so much fake CGI, and maybe it's different when you're watching in the movie theater. Yeah, actual just like terrible.
That would be the whole point, would not to have that. I would think.
Oh yeah,
An ode to stunt people with a bunch of CGI. Oh,
well, you can still do stunt.
I don't know
even
if
if
there's
you're
any
jumping.
way for me to not watch it more, but I'll not now. I really don't want to watch it.
I mean, I can't recommend it. I can't recommend it. And just the tone of it and the I'm like, this is the funny part, and this is supposed to make sense.